to cooperate with private firms. It was the mission of this, the one-stop shop aspect of it, and immediately link the firms with their own services and with the other service providers in the ecosystem. We also noticed that in case of each DIH, the competence centers were not fully leveraged, in a sense that leaders tended to be the most engaged in the provision of services rather than the other actors. All of that shows that there is a need for guidelines and for standardizing the DIH approaches, especially in terms of this one-stop shop and playing a role of the orchestrator in the system that is not only focusing on their own technologies, but also expanding, allowing enterprises to reach the services that are available in the market, but may not be available at a certain DIH. And that also another point that definitely takes time to develop is the collaboration between digital innovation hubs. Consortia were mostly established thanks to past collaborative experience, but partners act mostly separately. So what we have observed is that there is a big role for the leading organizations to bring all the partners together, but also that it takes time to adjust. And we see that also based on the fact that after 2 years, the organizations shifted when applying for the European Digital Innovation Hub, they shifted the membership in their consortium. So they replaced some of the members to better fit the needs of the client, but also to work more closely together. All that says, even if we have a clear call for proposals and clear rules, we have to, there will be time for adjustment, and there will be 1, 2, or 3 years that will be needed to for the DIHS to be fully operational, and an external actor such as the Foundation for the Industry, for the Future of Industry in Poland may play a critical role in making sure that the DIHS brand is well aligned. Then in terms of the business model, the aspects that we have pointed out are related again to the one-stop shop feature and to the standardization of customer journey. So common technology audit services should be implemented by all of the DIHS. Then DIHS should go beyond the technologies that they are offering within their consortium, but also link companies with services outside of their consortium. And what is also important is for each of the DIHS in the ecosystem to think what kind of role or what kind of market failure they are targeting in the ecosystem. Some of the DIHS have been duplicating the offering that is already in the private system, and this is not the aim of the public intervention. And there are also organizational factors where also the institutions like the Foundation for the Future of the Industry should play a big role. So one of them is the impact assessment frameworks, and in Poland there were limited. There has been limited monitoring and evaluation framework introduced for the pilot DIHS. Which limits the learnings that we can have from the pilot experience. So what we are recommending is to assign additional money for the monitoring and evaluation framework, and for the foundation to play a more active role in collecting the experiences from DIHS and doing it in a organized and frequent manners. Then there is a big role in the government mechanisms to coordinate various DIHS and for them to be part of really a network of these, rather than working as an individual entities. And again, it will take time. First point still is for each of the DIHS or EDICs that will be created to figure out their internal consortium and coordination mechanisms. But the next step should be to create a clear brand for digital innovation hubs and to coordinate the activities at the first country level and then also European level. And then all these pointed out to the external regulations that are challenging for them, like the changing regulations regarding the VAT, for example, financial arrangements or delayed signing of the contracts, or lack of clear rules on the state aid. So there is definitely a role, again, for the both ministry and foundation to support these in overcoming these regulatory aspects. And then regarding the challenges and the achievement on this client journey, every DIHS pointed out the challenges with reaching potential DIHS clients, and each of them focused their communication more on technological aspects rather than the one-stop model feature that comes back again in our presentation. Then in terms of the second aspect, the launching of each of the DIHS succeeded in launching the demonstration infrastructure, and they were able to react to the market needs in terms of creation of the technological roadmap, which was working relatively well. But there were challenges in terms of the low demand for these services, related also in difficulty in reaching potential clients, and a general challenge in terms of low awareness of enterprises regarding the needs to provide soft services and Industry 4.0 in general. Then in terms of services, digital maturity assessments were not introduced by each of the DIHS, and they are not standardized yet. But at the same time, each of the DIHS were successful in conducting a funnel-based mechanism of moving the clients through the process. And each of them were trying to map clients' needs and to some extent link the funding with external resources. In terms of retention, there was insufficient monitoring and of clients, and also of what happens to the clients after the services are provided, and there is still a big role in terms of advocacy at the national level for Industry 4.0 and increasing the awareness. Conclusions, and just very quickly, there is a need for standardization of some of the services, and we have pointed out, working together with the foundation and the ministry, the areas that could be standardized, like the client journey, awareness raising, and some of the services. Then these are not yet playing the role of the orchestrators of the system and one-stop shops. And this is definitely an area that requires more attention when the programs are implemented. And a third key aspect is the governance of the system. So defining clearly the role of the ministry, of the foundation for the future of the industry and of PARP, as well as supporting these in some of the administrative procedures. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Łukasz, for this presentation. I'm looking forward to questions from attendees. So please note, everyone, you can ask questions and comments. You can type them in the meeting chat. We'll try to monitor them, and if the time provides, we'll try to arrange also that the speaker right after the presentation tells answers one or two questions, and so that at the end of today's day for the Q&A session, we can also answer additional questions. So please be free to ask questions. There is this first question from Mr. Nikica Ivandic from my colleague. So he wants to ask, it seems that your recommendations regarding the operational model for European DIHS apply not just for Poland but to every country, or do you see any differences for Croatia, especially because you have experience with Croatia, so you are a relevant person to ask this.
Yes, so I've worked we work in 4 countries, in Bulgaria, Romania, Poland, and Croatia, and I've worked in each of the countries on the innovation ecosystems, and I would say that these challenges are very much common across all of the countries. So Croatia will be facing, I think, similar problems or challenges and similar opportunities as well. So I'm also very happy each time I come to Croatia that there is quite a lot of attention that you and your colleagues from the ministries pay to the experiences of Poland. In some ways, Poland has been introducing certain solutions a bit earlier, thanks to the fact that we joined the EU earlier. And I see that Croatia is very much learning from those experiences. So at this moment, I don't see like huge differences in terms of the implementation of digital innovation hubs and European digital innovation hubs in Croatia. But I also don't know fully the institutional setup and how it can work in Croatia. So with this small caveat, thank you.
Thank you, Łukasz. So